I would like to start today's video by thanking the sponsor, which is Y-Food. Now, Y-Food is a meal replacement shake or powder. It is not to be confused with a diet drink. They are great for people that are always on the go, or maybe don't want to wake up and have to make their sandwich for the day, like me, for example. They're great because they can be part of a balanced diet. They have 26 different vitamins and minerals in. They are lactose-free, they are gluten-free, they're high in protein. They can come in handy 500ml bottles which contain around 500 calories in, so they do keep you full between 3 and 5 hours. They don't need to be refrigerated, so they're fine in room temperature. And they've got some limited editions out at the moment, like this one here. They have apple cinnamon. They've also got lemon cheesecake, which is very lemony. So if you want to give them a try, guys, click the link in my description, go over to their website, use my discount code, which is salvage10, for an extra 10% off, guys. And that 10% would mean that this whole bag here, each meal, would cost you less than £1.60. And also you get a free shaker with that as well. So as always, a massive thanks to Y-Food for continuing to support the channel. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and back to the Golf GTI, the saga that is the Golf GTI. Now, this video is kind of an update. It's a long update-ish video on trying to diagnose this fuel problem, and seeing where we're up to. I've kind of filmed this video in parts over about a 5 or 6 week period. So I've tried to make as much sense of it as possible, just to basically keep you guys updated. And I do need your help because I'm not really a software kind of guy. I've never really done mapping, air fuel ratios. I don't really know anything about that side of it. So yeah, I do need your help, but yeah, just watch the video. We'll see where we're up to, and yeah, let's try and get this Golf running properly. Right, in today's video, guys, we are back on the Golf GTI, and even I'm now getting a bit bored of issues with this car. It looks like the high pressure fuel pump might be faulty. In the last video I said there's fueling issues, and they have got progressively worse. So now if when I come back from road test, it was spluttering. The spluttering has got worse. It now actually struggles to drive even crawling. So I did some measured values for the high pressure fuel pump. Now I've just got you on the Excel because I did actually a log spreadsheet of the car. So this is the RPMs over here. That's a timestamp, don't worry about that. Now I've got two figures here, this one being specified high pressure fuel pump. This is in bar, this reading, and this is actual. So if we just scroll up to like here, you can see it's fairly close. It's mimicking what it should be. Like up here, I think it's at idle, so you can see I've revved it and it's not perfect, but it's not a million miles off. But then we go down to here, look, and you can see it's coming down the revs. So I've obviously on overrun, back down to idle, and for some reason it's just spiked. It's gone from 34 bar, even though the specified is hovering around the 45 to 50 mark, it's shot right up to 228 bar, and then it's died down. And then eventually, even then, it's still hovering above that idle look. So there's clearly an issue with the high pressure fuel pump. It isn't mimicking the specified. So there's a possible issue that the new internals are possibly sticking. Now apparently this can be a common problem because the tolerances are so tight. They can apparently stick. So that might be what's happening here. I did just run the car up and I did hear some ticking noises coming from the high pressure fuel pump area. So I think the obvious thing to do now is to strip it back down and have a look inside it to see if there's any damage or anything like that. So I've removed the high pressure fuel pump, and as you can see, the internals are actually fine on this. There's no scoring at all. Absolutely looks fine. Piston slides up and down absolutely fine. So I'll show an example of a bad one just for reference. So yeah, I don't know, it's not the internals. If the high pressure fuel pump seems to be working. So I've then just put it back together, refitted it, and yeah, it got worse. Now it barely runs it even at idle. So immediately I checked the values. The specified for idle was 117 bar, and I'm now only getting about 50. So I've gone completely opposite. I've gone from I'm gonna swap arms. I've gone from 2 higher pressure now to 2 lower pressure. So in my eyes, then it's the high pressure fuel pump that must be at fault here. There's nothing that can really externally influence those readings. There is a relief valve built into the high pressure fuel pump. I suspect that that is probably faulty and not correctly adjusting the pressure basically off the camshaft. So I suspect that that is at fault. So what I've done is I've ordered another Golf R upgraded part, a Golf R high pressure fuel pump. Right, my stripped high pressure fuel pump is under here nicely. Look, as you can see, it's all stripped down, Autotech internals there. Here's our new fuel pump, and you can see, look, it's got the blank there, where on this one we have the outlet for our MPI injectors. So all I've got to do is just quickly swap that over to this one. I'm going to then fit the new high pressure fuel pump with the standard internals on and hopefully go for a start, and it will all be good. So I'm just going to skip ahead to the starting part because you've seen this all a million times before. Right, that's all fitted now. Getting pretty quick at doing these. Only took about 2 minutes. So let's go for a start. Gonna have to pressurize the system. But make sure there's no leaks, I suppose. No, all looking good. Alright, let's see if it runs like a bag of nails. Well, it's running better so far. But I'm going to hook up VAGCOM now. I'm going to let it idle for a little bit. I'm going to hook up VAGCOM and just see the measured values. There we go, look, that looks a lot better. So it looks like it was the high pressure fuel pump that was at fault. Although I am now just going to take it back off. Well, I'll talk about it when you can't hear the engine. So we've now narrowed it down to one of two things. It's either the Autotech internals that are somehow faulty, or it was the high pressure fuel pump relief valve that was faulty. I'm going with the latter. So what I'm going to do now is I've actually put a stage 1 map back on this that was able to work with the 4-bar map sensor and the MPI injectors, just to make sure it wasn't the map that was an issue. Obviously it wasn't the map, so what I need to do now is I'm going to put the Autotech internals in the new fuel pump, get them swapped over, put that back on. I'm also going to upload the proper stage 3 map, and then fingers crossed we'll start it up. It will run fine because it was a little bit spluttery then, but I'm putting it down to the fact that the fuel pump standard and the map. So we'll get everything properly built up, and then fingers crossed it will start, it will run, and we can go for that road test. Now, after spending God knows how many hours trying to look at this fuel issue, I've obviously fitted the Golf R high pressure fuel pump that I got off eBay, and I was getting the same problems, just not running properly, and the specified actual values of the high pressure fuel pump were just way off. Obviously removing the MPI injectors, putting it all back to a stock map, putting the stock internals back in the high pressure fuel pump, it was still messing me around. So I can't think of a reason of why it's not the high pressure fuel pump at fault. I definitely know that my feed to the pump is absolutely fine. Low pressure fuel pump, absolutely spot on. There's nothing wrong with that at all. The problem starts here. Now, because there's no issue before it, then it's got to be the high pressure fuel pump. So I have ordered a new one. I just said, oh, getting bored of this, I'm going to order a new pump, and then that way it will eliminate the high pressure fuel pump one way or another. I can't think of what else it can be, so I have bitten the bullet and ordered a new pump. Now, what an absolute menace this car is being. High pressure fuel pump all installed about an hour ago. It ran like rubbish to start with, but progressively it then decided it would idle okay. I'm just going to go inside because I think it's really windy, you might be able to hear me. And also, while I'm here quickly, my coolant leak hasn't been fixed. I have definitely found the problem though. There's a hose under this one. Can't see it from here, but there's 2 hoses coming out of this pipe here, and there's either a split in the hose or maybe the plastic trim has a crack in it from maybe the impact when it was crashed. I don't know, but it's 100% coming from the hose under this. So that, as you can see all the coolant there, so that will now 100% be fixed at a later date. So let me just jump inside. Yeah, so I left it idling. It's decided it would eventually idle after a couple of minutes of spluttering. It decided to idle properly, so I left it idling for about 15 minutes. I got it up to temperature, and it has just progressively got better. It's running better. It will let me rev up to about 3,000 RPM now, and then it splutters. Now it's got everything is standard on the car, apart from the Golf R injectors that I fitted. They're a 10% bigger flow, I think, than the GTI ones, and also the turbo is obviously a hybrid Golf R turbo, so it's pretty much twice the size of the GTI one. It is on a completely standard map. Now, I don't know, I'm not a software person, I don't know anything at all about mapping, and I really don't know that much about fuel, air to fuel ratios, boost, etc. So I do need some help on this one. I'd wonder if any of you guys watching, would the turbo being the size of it is on the standard map, would that impact me revving it? Would it be basically starved of fuel? So it's now just spluttering between sort of 3 and 4 when it's coming on boost. Would that just be it feels like a lack of fuel? I just don't know. It's the only thing I can really think of at the minute. I'll just give you a quick clip of what it's doing. So, I'll just start it up. Right, so idle, okay. And that is where, after 3. So basically when it's coming on boost, so I just don't know if it's a lack of fuel because of the big turbo on the standard map. Also, so that's where we're up to at the minute. So I've left it overnight, I've gone to start it again the next day, and it runs like a bag of nails again. So it obviously affects it more when it's cold. I've just taken an interesting video under the bonnet because I can hear like a metallic-y noise. So you can visibly see, you're about to see the video, you can visibly see the engine just really not, it just seems like a lack of fuel. And there's a horrible noise coming from, it sounds like under the high pressure fuel pump, so maybe the camshaft. I'm not really too sure at this moment in time. And I don't know, what do you guys think? What does it sound like? Because I don't want to start stripping things, because it only does it when it's cold, so the chances are it's not going to be an obvious fault, so I don't want to start stripping stuff down and not really have a clue what I'm looking for. So what do you guys think in the comments? What do you think that noise is? Again? One more. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm up to with the Golf at the minute. I'm literally no further along to fixing this than when the video started. Although I do have a nice new high pressure fuel pump, which at this point in time seems pretty pointless. So yeah, we're going to keep going with the Golf GTI. I thought I'd just give you an update of where we're up to, and that is that there is no really update. It's still not roadworthy. So yeah, unfortunately that's where we're at. So the next video, guys, will be on the RS6. So I'm hoping to get that out in the next couple of days actually, and then there will be the reveal of the next cheap project car as well. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.